Today I wanted to take a look at the iPad 2 in 2019. Now this is a pretty old device, and to be honest, there's not much that you can do with it aside from potentially ebooks, maybe watching like a YouTube video or something, and maybe Netflix or Hulu and those kinds of things. It really doesn't have much processing power to do any kind of gaming or anything advanced or any kind of multitasking. But there is one thing that I think it does really well at, and it's something that I use it for primarily on a daily basis. Now this works in conjunction with an app that costs $10. It's called Duet. Now, for what you get with Duet, it seems like an expensive price for an app, but in reality, you get a lot of bang for your buck. So if you look at, what a display would cost you, it's running around $100 to $200. For $10, you get an external display to one of your Macs or one of your PCs. So this app is universal. The new feature that Apple calls Sidecar, and where you have to have like one of the newer iPad Air 2 devices or an iPad Pro, basically gives you a second display with your iPad. Now, Duet 2 was out a long time before Apple decided to launch their Sidecar feature, so they have a lot of experience in the game. If you take a look at my screen here, you'll see how I'm using it. Essentially, I have my Finder here. I have one of my favorite YouTube channels, which is Chilled Cow for like music. Sometimes I'll have news up here. I've got my sticky notes, and on the bottom you'll notice it has Touch Bar. With the new MacBook Pros, you have a touch bar that basically replaces the F1, F2 keys. With Duet, it simulates that. So for instance, if I open up Google Chrome here, you'll notice that my options change with every app, just like MacBook Pro touch bar. You have the simulation, which does exactly the same thing. So here you'll notice it actually works with touch screen. I can touch the search bar here and I can type with it. You'll notice I can reload the page. I can hit the escape key. And another great thing aside from this touch bar feature here, it also works as a touch screen control. So as you can tell, I'm moving around the Finder, and it works pretty seamlessly and with very little lag. So it's impressive for what it does on such an old piece of hardware. Now, to kind of touch back on the functionality of an iPad 2 as a standalone device, yeah, you can get away with some mail and basic apps and that kind of thing, something that doesn't really draw too much horsepower. But with an additional $10 app, you get so much more bang for your buck out of this iPad 2. It is literally the primary use for my iPad 2. I don't do anything else with it aside from use it as a second display for my iMac, and it works phenomenally well. I have a 27-inch display here, and then I have the smaller 9.7-inch iPad over to the right here, where I can have my Finder, I can have my notes, I can have video playing in pop-out mode, or picture-in-picture as they call it. So it works really well for that. And if you have an iPad 2, I highly recommend picking up the Duet app. Whether you have a Windows machine, whether you have a Mac, it really functions exceptionally well as a second display at a really affordable price. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time.